The Agweek Market Wrap is sponsored by Gateway Building Systems.
Welcome to the Agweek Market Wrap, brought to you by Gateway Building Systems. I'm Don Wick with the Red River Farm Network, and as always, we're joined by Randy Martinson of Martinson Ag Risk Management. Of course, Randy, we've got a 3-day holiday weekend going on. It's going to keep the market on its toes. I'm guessing markets won't reopen until Monday night, and there's certainly some weather in the forecast. I'm guessing you and all your fellow traders are going to be paying attention to every forecast here.
No, most definitely. I mean, right now it doesn't look like we've got much on the books or much in the forecast for tonight or tomorrow, Friday and Saturday. And that can change though. I mean, you get this kind of heat, things can brew up pretty quick and it can drop a isolated large amount of rain. But it definitely, we're going to be paying attention to Sunday and Monday, as that's going to, I think, set the tone for what we get planted up here in the Northern Plains for this year.
My sense, talking to a lot of farmers, is that they're going to forego some of these crop insurance final planting dates and keep on planting just because of where these markets are at. Is that an accurate assessment?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think guys will push the envelope as much as they can. I know there's still guys looking to putting corn in, and I don't know if they'll go too far into the late planting period. Once you start taking 15% away from your guarantee, it kind of gets to be kind of a tough to continue to plant. But I do think guys are going to continue to plant as long as they can. Like I said, this weekend I think will dictate a lot that happens as far as corn and wheat planting, because if we get 2 to 3 inches, it might end the season for those two crops.
Obviously, we're paying a lot of attention to this in our footprint. What are you seeing in the rest of the Corn Belt?
Actually, the Corn Belt is actually doing pretty good. The majority or the major corn producing states, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, all got caught up last week with their close to their 5-year average. Either they were at it or just, within 4 or 5%. That, they had a tremendous good planting progress. Now they've got good emergence. The crop is behind, and it's likely it's not going to yield the max yields. But right now, for the most part, you get outside of the Northern Plains, northern Minnesota, northern North Dakota, northern South Dakota, things look fairly good.
Markets got a bit excited this week with Russia in the news. There was some speculation that Russia may allow some grain exports to come out of the Ukrainian ports if in return get some of the sanctions loosened up on Russia. It seemed like it was a couple-day story. Is there any legs to this?
There is. I mean, and you I know there was a lot of trying to figure out why Russia was willing to do this and whether Ukraine should accept the offer. I know one of the backstories I heard was that, this is also then going to allow Russia to bring troops in, because they're going to take the landmines out or the mines out of the water and be able to allow shipments to take place. So I think it's got, on merit, it's a good thing. Hopefully it'll help get Ukraine, be able to move some grain, but it also brings Russia into a little bit better light as far as the world is concerned if they did allow it.
I've been doing this a long time. I've never seen so much talk about food security or food insecurity. USDA announcing this week one way to try to address it anyway, the plan to allow landowners to opt out of CRP if their contracts are expiring this year. They can opt out early without penalty. They can't do it, though, until after the final nesting season, which is August 1st in majority of this region. Is that a play for this market?
It's a play for winter wheat, not so much for up here in the Northern Plains. I don't think it will be. Might see some guys take it out and hay it and then get it into condition to ready to plant next year. But I don't think it'll make a big impact for 2022. Now, there might be some winter wheat that gets planted down in the southern areas. But right now, I think it's going to help us more for next year than it will this year.
President Biden was on his Asia trip the past week or so as well. Spoke of an Indo-Pacific free trade agreement. I think this is the first free trade agreement coming out of the Biden administration. What potential do you see for trade agreements, really of any kind, when we've really adopted a protectionist type of attitude all across the world?
Right now, I think it could help us a little bit. I mean, if we could get favored nation status type with this agreement, and we can get to become, the buyer of first resort. If there gets to be a need, that they come to us, especially for wheat. That's the one market that we really need to get some exports going for. Hopefully, something like this could do that. Jury's still out, but it would help in the long run as long as it keeps us at the top of the table instead of at the bottom of the table.
Switch gears over to the livestock. As mentioned, Memorial Day weekend, there's going to be one less slaughter day this next week for our packer processors. Do you see an increase in demand as we go into next week?
I do. I mean, box beef prices have been a little bit stronger, so hopefully that can spill over into the next week. The Dow Jones performed better this week. We did see, gas prices continue to surge a little bit, but we're feeling a little bit better about the economy. The dollar was down. So all that, I hope, will help continue to push a little bit of demand as far as the meat sector is concerned. That's the one thing that's missing. We got tight supplies. We got decent exports. If we can keep our domestic demand moving forward, that certainly will help. And I know a lot of the trade is more focused on what's going to happen after Memorial Day for demand than what they're worried about Memorial Day weekend.
You mentioned some of the outside markets where you saw crude, I believe, end of the week at $115 a barrel. Certainly that pump price isn't going to come down anytime soon.
No, it's not. It's up over $5 a barrel this week. So when we finished up for the week, I don't see it coming down anytime soon. I mean, it's going to take an increase in production or a slowdown in demand before we see something like that. And right now, as we go into the summer driving season, I mean, everybody's out of school now. That's when travel starts. I don't see that happening. I see demand continuing to stay strong.
Well, once again, 3-day holiday weekend. It's going to be an interesting situation when we get back to the trade come Monday night and into early next week as well.
It is. All eyes are going to be on the weather forecast. I mean, North Dakota is definitely the one that's where the focus on. We've got the spotlight shining on us, and it's going to depend on, I think what these markets do, what happens with this weekend's weather.
Always exciting. Randy, appreciate the chance to visit.
Yep. Thank you.
Randy Martinson, president of Martinson Ag Risk Management. And of course, for markets and market analysis throughout the week, you can go join your Red River Farm Network radio affiliates or find it online at rrfn.com. Our Agweek Market Wrap is sponsored by Gateway Building Systems. I'm Don Wick.